The TV studio has been converted back into a garden. Welcome back to another edition of the West Springfield Garden Club. It's the part 2 of the 6-part series. I'm Christopher Stone. Alongside me is Charlotte Pascarella, the president of the West Springfield Garden Club. Charlotte, it's great to have you back.
Thank you very much. I am here this time around to talk about something called tools and techniques. And thank you for mentioning this beautiful set that we have here, thanks to, once again, to Western Growers. And so we're actually going to start with Charlotte Fields from Western Growers, and she's going to be showing us a technique called pinching to encourage branching and prevent legginess. Susan Staves from our garden club is going to be showing us a great technique when you have really, really tiny seeds. It's not easy to put them in the ground, and she has this wonderful technique to show us. Marianne Austin is going to be showing us a technique for stand-up gardening. Then we're going to move on to tools. Our tool people are Lucy Bolduc. Lucy has this wonderful seat that can be turned into a kneeler, and a great shovel to explain to all of us about those two items. And Pat Garbarsik is bringing power tools that help us for efficiency and convenience in gardening.
Well, sounds exciting. I look forward to getting right into that.
Good. So let's start with Charlotte from Western Growers.
Sounds good. All right, stick with us. Welcome back, everybody. Here with me is Charlotte Fields from Western Growers, and glad to have you back.
It's great to be here.
All right. Now, you've got some basil in front of you. Are we cooking? What are we doing with basil today?
Well, today I want to talk about the importance of pinching your plants to encourage a healthy growth habit. When you pinch, you encourage it to branch out, and you discourage it from becoming a leggy, unattractive plant.
Okay. Now, what is a leggy plant?
Well, this basil has not been pinched.
Okay.
And because it hasn't been pinched, it has no extra branches and no body to it.
Okay.
When you do pinch it, which I'm going to do now,
Sure.
you pinch it where your two little new growth shoots are coming out. And this is going to force the plant to push out new growth and give you that beautiful basil plant that you are so looking for. This one has been pinched periodically. When you pinch, you also want to, when it comes to basil, you want to discourage it from flowering.
Okay.
The flowers are a stop for the plant, so it won't continue to grow up and to branch out from that point because it has flowered. When you pinch these, you can use it for your cooking, put it in your dinner, pesto, garnish, stuff like that.
Now, if a plant is fully grown, can you continue to pinch it or no?
It is important to pinch some plants when they're fully grown. For example, a coleus, you'll want to maintain the plant so that it doesn't outgrow its pot. Or a petunia, when it's in a hanging basket and it's hanging over the side, it'll, if it gets too long, too leggy, then it will bloom at the ends and won't continue blooming on the top. So when you cut it back, you're encouraging it to flower on the top of the pot as opposed to the ends of the branches.
Are there any plants that you shouldn't pinch?
Something like a bounce impatient or a
How
New
convenient.
Guinea impatient, they actually branch out on their own. They don't need the extra help to create the mounded look that you're looking for when you plant them.
Great. Is there anything else that you'd want to share with us?
Well, fall is coming, so it's a little bit late to start pinching your mums, but when you have your mums planted in your yard and they come back, you really want to stay on top of pinching them so that you don't get a stringy, wispy plant when it blooms in the fall. You want it to be that nice rounded mound. So you can go out with your clippers and you can cut it across about 3 or 4 inches tall, and that'll really give you that look that you get at the garden center without having to repurchase every year.
Well, Charlotte, thank you for sharing this and with your techniques on how to pinch and whatnot, and we hope to have you back on again soon. And stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
Here with me on our next segment is Susan Staves. Now, Susan, you got a pan and some gelatin. I don't think we're cooking, are we? I think we're doing something else. What are we doing?
We're doing something else. We are making an efficient way of working with small seed so that you could plant it in your garden with spaces in between. What I do with mustard seed and small carrot seed, they're so small you can't hardly handle them, and never mind take each individual seed and put it in a row. So I learned to use a gelatin technique where it's very economical to do, where you use unflavored gelatin that you could buy at the grocery store. You could use containers. I prefer these plastic clear containers because I could see through them. And you could use large or small. I purchased these at the cake decorating store, but
Nice.
I'm sure you could get those at the dollar store. They're $1 for these containers. And
So very cost-effective.
Cost-effective.
The whole kit. You're not going to break the bank.
no, I'm not going to break the
Great.
bank. And they're well, the plastic containers are reusable. And what I do is I take I make my gelatin as I follow the directions on the back. I let the gelatin cool, and I have my containers set up. I like using a funnel so I don't make a mess. And I'll take this cooled gelatin mixture, and you could use it in more than one container because it makes a lot. And you pour the gelatin into the container, and you fill it I fill it quite a bit high.
How high do you go?
It depends on how many seeds I'm planting.
Oh, okay. Yep.
You know, if you're only planting a few seeds, you only need a little. And I'm using spinach as an example. I'll just pour my spinach seeds in there. And you know what? They're not going to fit because they're too big. But you put...
That's okay.
All right, you get the idea.
Sure. Yeah.
But you put your spinach seeds in there, or I like working with this, and you shake it. And you put this in the refrigerator. And you wait 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and you go in the refrigerator and you check your Jell-O to see how hard it is. You want to keep on shaking that Jell-O because it firms up quickly. And after half an hour, you are going to see that your seeds are totally suspended in this unflavored gelatin. And they're going to be so much easier to work with in the garden. And then all you have to do is take off the top. These are my lettuce seeds.
Okay.
If the seeds are too big to get through the top of the bottle, cut it. Cut the top. I brought you in some dirt to have a hands-on experience with my seed. And all you do is you squeeze and the seed will come out.
Everyone separately. That's
separately.
Great. Wow.
And that's all there is to it. It's such a marvelous, marvelous idea.
And simple, too.
It's very simple.
Well, thanks, Susan, for showing us your technique. And stay with us. We'll be right back with our next segment.
Staring contest!
You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Welcome back, and here with me is Mary Ann Austin. Now, Mary, I see that you have some vegetables and a garden to the side. So, Mary, I'm going to ask it. Mary, how does your garden grow?
My garden grows not precisely like this, which is a commercial stand-up garden available at Lowe's for about $50. My garden at home is 10 or 15 times larger than this, and was built, thanks to my engineer husband, by him about 3.5 years ago. And it's made from wood and concrete and various other materials, and we have a materials list and a diagram available.
Yes, we'll show a picture of the garden on screen as well as the diagram. Yep.
And it is loaded. It was loaded initially with 2.5 cubic yards of screened loam, which I bought in Westfield, which came in a dump truck. And they came around to the backyard and dumped it right in the garden. And I waited a couple of weeks before I planted it. And since that time, I've had my stepson come in April, just before the frost ends, and dump a front loader full of compost in there for me that I hoe in and wait a couple of weeks before I plant. I usually get starter plants from the local nursery, and I plant common things like cucumber, eggplant, squash, wax beans, green peppers, tomatoes, of course.
Got quite a variety there.
Yes, yeah. And these were fresh picked yesterday. So it is very productive. Mm-hmm. It's also very, very convenient.
And you wanted anything about being organic or fertilizing?
Yes, I did mention it is organic. I use a fish emulsion fertilizer, which actually smells very bad, but is very, very good for fertilizing. And that helps with production. As you can see, I have to pick beans like every other day because it is very productive. And other than that, it's handy because I can walk around. I don't have to bend or stoop. I can pick up the weeds and just drop them on the ground where the mower just
sucks them right up.
Sucks them right up, absolutely, that's right. And I can do that whenever I feel at my own convenience. And
Wonderful.
I don't have to bend or stoop or hurt myself.
I guess it kind of leads into my next question is, what are some advantages of a stand-up garden?
The stand-up garden, the basic advantage is that you don't have to bend or stoop to do anything. As gardeners well know, that's one of the things that is the hardest, is that when you have to bend or stoop or kneel.
Yep.
And it's very hard on your joints. So this avoids all of that. And I'm very thankful to the Garden Club for letting me share this project with the members.
Well, Mary Ann, we're happy to have you on this segment, and good luck this gardening season, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts? Yes, you.
You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Welcome back to the show. Here with me is Lucy Bolduc. Now, Lucy, you got some tools with us. What are we going to be going over?
Well, I'm here to tell you what you can do if you don't have raised bed gardening. This is a kneeling bench, and you simply put this on the ground. You kneel on top of it, and if you need assistance getting up, if you're handicapped in some way, you just push yourself up by your arms, and it helps you get to a standing position quite easily. Then if you want to work sitting up, you flip it over, and you can sit on it. It's also very lightweight. It's easy to carry, so it's a great tool to bring with you to a garden tour or a rock concert.
Ah, there you go.
Yep. Yeah. So it's easy.
Very good. And I think I can put this on the ground if you're done with it.
I also have a spearhead spade with me. I have many shovels, but this is one of my favorites for digging herbaceous perennials. It has a very pointy end on it, and you can see it has a support here so that you can jump on it with your boot and it doesn't dig into your shoe. It has a fiberglass handle, so it's lightweight. Good woman's tool. That's all I can say about it. It works really well.
And you don't have to be a 200-pound man to put force in it. It goes right in.
I'm not going to tell you what I weigh, but it's not a lot, and the shovel has no problem going into the ground.
Very good. And then maybe and that could be a huge advantage over some typical shovels that you see at like Home Depot or a Lowe's, where it's kind of a rounded.
Depends what you're going to use it for.
Yeah.
Like all tools have their purpose.
Right.
And this is really great for herbaceous perennials.
Good to know. And is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No.
All right. Well, thank you, Lucy, for being on the program. And
thank you.
We'll be right back right after this.
Staring contest.
You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Welcome back to the show. Here with me is Pat Garbazik. Pat, looks like you got some interesting tools in front of you. So what do we got going here?
Well, I'm going to talk about some power tools that I use in the garden that I found to be very, very helpful, and some of the other members of the garden club also thought it was very helpful. The first tool I'm going to show you is a blower, and this is a 3-pound blower. It's not the big leaf blower, and I wouldn't use this for blowing leaves, but this is very, very useful when you're doing your gardening and you are planting, especially near a roadway, a driveway, a walkway. We use this every time we plant in front of the town hall where we have a walkway, and then we get some soil on the garden and leaves and things like that.
Looks great, by the way. I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, the garden club does a good job with that. And so after we're done, this is a very convenient tool. It's very lightweight, 3 pounds, and I'm going to put it on. It's battery powered, so you don't need any cords.
Great.
It is lightweight, and you just press the button, and you have the best blower.
All right.
For cleaning up those after you do your plantings. I also use this for my deck. It's a great tool for cleaning up your deck right before your guests arrive.
Yep.
And also during the time of the pollen, to get the pollen off your furniture. And so it's a very handy tool, and it's much more efficient than using the broom.
Absolutely. And how long does it take to charge the battery, and how long does the battery last?
It takes about this is the battery. Goes right in there. It takes about a half an hour to charge it. So I have a charger, and I leave that in my garage plugged in all the time. And I have 2 batteries because many times these instruments come with their own battery and charger. So I always have one in the charger. I always know I can go with my tools here. This will run about a half an hour.
Okay.
Which is plenty of time to do whatever job you want to do with the blower. So that's it.
So charge a half hour and you can get it
Another half an hour out of the battery. Okay.
Great.
And it's very easy to use. You just pop it in. And it's very easy and very lightweight.
Very good.
And
what else we got?
Hey, we have my handy chainsaw. And my husband was a little upset when I got it. He said, "You're going to hurt yourself with that." But it's only 10 inches long.
Yep.
And like I said, when you're working around your trees, many times you can get the little limbs with this saw.
Yes.
Very easy. Or you can use a lopper and get it. But sometimes, you know, your trees have limbs on them that need the chainsaw.
Right.
And I watched my next door neighbor with his chainsaw, which was much bigger than this, and you have to pull a string.
Yeah.
Which I knew I couldn't do. And then I found this chainsaw, and it is not heavy like the other chainsaws, and it has a safety device where you have to push one part in and then hold this down here.
Very nice. And I was going to say, you know, chainsaws can be scary.
They can be scary, and you always wear your goggles,
Yep.
you know, before you start doing this, and you hold it out straight, and you do do your work.
Are there certain clothes you should wear using a chainsaw, like certain pants that in case
Well,
something...
I always wear long pants in the
Yep.
garden anyway, and of course you don't want any kind of loose clothing.
Right.
You always want to, whenever I use this, I'm very, very conscious of what I am doing.
Absolutely.
And I don't like to go above a certain height. I leave that for the professionals.
Right.
But this is something, and it saved me a lot of time taking down some limbs that I would have to maybe hire somebody because it would take much too long to do it this
Absolutely.
way. So.
Is there anything else that you'd want to add or share?
No, I think that's it. You know, I like these tools because they're lightweight. They're somebody that my age and height and everything can use, you know, successfully.
Well, thanks, Pat, for sharing your tools and techniques with us, and we hope to see you soon. And we'll be right back right after this. Stay tuned.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to savethefood.com.
Well, this concludes our program, the second part of a 6-part series of the West Springfield Garden Club series. Charlotte, it was great to have you on, and as well as your members of the club. What can we look forward to coming up next?
Well, this weekend, the founder of the West Springfield Garden Club, Howard Fife, he founded the Garden Club 54 years ago. And without Howard, we wouldn't have the great greenhouse, and he deserves our love and our appreciation. And so what we've done in his memory is we have a memorial bench and a legacy tree. It is a copper beech. And we're having a ceremony in Mitteneg Park to dedicate the tree and the bench. And that's going to be our next program. And it's going to be brought to you on site.
Well, we look forward to covering that and showing that in our next episode.
Thank you very much, Chris.
As always, a pleasure to have you and your members here. And until next time, take care, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.